Okay, this is about October the, I don't know, 9th. Just been crazy busy, but just kind of a progress report. Tried to clean out some of the stuff. I had 2 bookcases full of just electrical stuff and supplies and lights and fans, and so that's the little pantry and coat closet. And going to send this video up. We're going to get an estimate on our kitchen cabinet. So between these 2 columns is about 72 inches, and that concrete floor, this is hardwood, heart pine, I think, and then the rest of this is concrete. So I want to have the breakfast bar over there, either that or just an island without even having the bar. But so that is there. And then, of course, you have the refrigerator up against the wall. Where that red stud is about 4 feet out. The stove is going to go right where that wire's snaking down. And actually, if you look really hard, it says center line of cooktop, you know, roughly there. I can get a dimension on that one too. But down to there. The Tyvek, it's actually a door we purchased a long time ago just to make sure all of our door openings and things are right. But the Tyvek is actually covering up. This wall was done with like just random, I call it barn wood, you know, like rough cut oak of all things. And so we're going to start working in this room next week or 2. And I wanted to make sure all this was covered up so that way no drywall dust and sanding and paint and whatever. So anyway, back to the kitchen. These 2 posts were down under the house. They were using them for supports, but we changed out some of the supports. They're not fixed in place yet, but I'm thinking somewhere around 72 inches. I wanted to have enough room where you could slide a chair, like a bar stool. But again, if we make a bar, you know, a kitchen island without having the bar on it, that might be okay too. I have a bunch more of that barn wood. I thought about putting it across the front there, you know, between, and maybe down the sides. Have a lot of it. So that's the kitchen. You know, should take some good pictures of this too. Pretty basic setup. I want a nice L-shaped kitchen in here. Of course, the ceiling is a bit of a weird height. It's like 9'6" if I remember right. I put it on the sketch, but anyway. And I've already had the trench cut for hot and cold water. I believe 3 power lines for dishwasher disposal, and then a couple of outlets. And then you come down into the hallway, and we ended up, you know, people that have seen this video before, but for you first timers. Actually, the hallway was there. There was just an opening, and you walk down that hallway, and it had a really nice view of the river. But it was kind of senseless to have a view of the river in the hallway. So we ended up moving. There was a bedroom in the center of the house. So here was actually a bedroom. And then we ended up moving the bedroom to the left and moving the hallway to the right. So the hallway goes down the center of the house. Much better floor plan. So if you come down the hallway, and yes, we're leaving that piece of brick exposed where the chimney is, because demoing a chimney is no fun. I've done it before. They actually were using cedar logs for rafters. The house was built around 1905, but then they actually had furring strips going along it for the drywall. And once we started pulling down the drywall on the furring strips, I saw the logs and thought, well, it'd be really cool if we could leave those exposed. A little bit more work for the drywall guys, but even he agreed that it was a really nice move. We're going to have I believe it's heart pine floors redone, but when you wake up in the morning, your head's going to be about here, looking up the James River. So it's flowing towards you, down towards the town of Buchanan. That's the remains of the old Springwood wooden truss bridge. It's really hard to see, but those X-shaped beams going across the top are actually like 12 by 12 wooden timbers. The flood of 1985 wiped it out, and it floated about 6 miles down the river towards the town of Buchanan, which is down that way. Looking out this way is kind of looking towards James River High School, but you can hear like Friday night football games and things like that. But anyway, we did the recessed lights. I had to kind of make an angled wall for the return air for the vent chase, and put in some nice lights. I was going to put a ceiling fan above the wooden beams, but don't think that's going to be a good idea. So we ended up just making the outlets switched, and we have switches, in the overhead for the overhead lights. Come across the hall. I can't walk on this yet, but this is the guest bathroom. And when you look out that window, you're like a foot, 18 inches away is like solid rock. So it goes like straight up, and you can stand actually above the house and pretty much spit on the roof of the house. Linen closet, and then you come over to here, and there's a little odd hallway, and there's that door that goes out. I had to custom order a 24-inch wide door. Then come over here. This is going to be the laundry. Kind of filmed around the corner, but we left the wall open just so that we could make sure that there was no plumbing leaks or anything like that. We're going to have some bifold doors across the front of that. You come back out here to the hallway. Come down in this. I'm going to put some glass shelves and have a really nice LED downlight. That's a switch for that. Come into the master bedroom, and it was kind of the same situation here. Once we started pulling down the log or the furring strips, we saw that the logs were really, really crooked and bent and, just spliced together. I mean, it was really a mess. So the contractor I had at the time said, well, let me pull the logs down. Maybe we can borrow some from some of the other parts of the house. So once he pulled them down and I walked into the room, I said, oh my God, just looks terrific with the, really high ceiling with the big windows, lots of glass. And then we ended up just framing in a raised ceiling that is 11 feet. So, and I bought a giant ceiling fan. Come over here, you got the sliding door looking out onto the river. And then this window was here when we first bought the house, which I wouldn't even think about changing it. But yeah, that's, I'm actually going to put the headboard of the bed about where I'm standing. So when you sit up in the morning, you kind of look straight out at the bridge and the water. But yeah, I love the ceiling in here, just that it goes up so high. Then you walk into the master bath. I don't want to walk on it too much because they just got the grout put back in today. There we go. So the bifold doors are a big walk-in closet. There's a walk-in closet, linen closet, whatever you want to call it here. Fairly deep. It's about 5 feet wide. This one's like 8 or 9 feet wide. You walk in, shower, and then if you go out that door, I'm gonna step over this. If you go out that door, those valves are actually drain valves there's an outdoor shower going to be right on the outside of that wall. And then we are eventually adding a deck out here so you can take an outdoor shower. It's very nice and private, and I've always loved outdoor showers. Sink and toilet. And again, the walk-in shower. The tile is on order. Actually, that's it right there. So the tiles, coming in. We're gonna cut these, I believe, in half and put a border of that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm thinking about some kind of shelves or whatever in here, even like maybe go to one of those, closet made companies or whatever and get some really nice shelves in here. But yeah, it's getting there. So I just love the view of this. And, it's especially this time of year when the leaves are changing and things. So But that's what you got. So go around, turn off all these lights, and so yeah, when you come back out here into the kitchen, you know, then once we frame in that, and got all the recessed lights in here. Still debating whether or not I want to rearrange the spacing on those and put a lot bigger ceiling fan in here. We're looking at probably an L-shaped sofa and an L-shaped sofa with a center table, big TV right there. Not that anybody comes to the river to watch TV, but yeah, this place has had quite a storied existence. Used to be a little general store out here in the front. You can see there's even like old phone numbers and things written on the wall, and initials and things like that. So, you know, but that's all going to be covered up. But yeah, the living room is going to run long ways, and then, you know, around this corner is going to be the dining room and that chandelier. So, but yeah, it's getting there. So let's take a little bit of stuff further back. So it'll be really nice. But then when you come out here, it's just super quiet on the front porch. But actually, if you listen really close, you can hear the band practicing. Yeah, you can pretty much, you know, that's like a 30-degree slope down into the river from the foundation of the house. Yeah, and there are occasionally trains, but it's across the river about 50 feet behind where that red picnic shelter thing is. But and they really don't go by all that often, especially at night. It's very rarely hear a train at night. But anyway, so that's progress report.